Good morning. Good to be back with you again. Just a short time ago, I shared a game with you against an opponent named Stuart Ansell, and that game was played on the 31st of October 1994. Well, it's only a short time after, on the 19th of January 1995, just a few months, we met again in the rematch where his team travelled to South Bristol to play us, and this time we weren't on board one, we were on board four. There is a reason for this. All our players were rated around the same, so we did it. We did like to mix it up sometimes and move the players around, let them, if they played well, they deserved a chance to play a bit higher. And I was quite happy when asked would I play him again, because he was on board four, and I said okay, I don't mind. The captain for this particular match felt that psychologically it was good for the team if we played them again, as I beat him so badly last time. So and anyway, we didn't know what might happen. So Ash a bit emotional, this guy. So with further ado, I'll take you to the game. Now, this time this time Mr. Ansell was white. Stuart, that is. And come to the board, sat down, shook hands, didn't look at me, if I remember rightly, and he's very quiet and it's very stern, and I think he was out for revenge. He hadn't forgotten the last game, and he was ready. So he played knight f3, I played d5, g3. So he's playing a nice quiet game, like a Reti type setup or King's Indian, something like that, something slow and positional perhaps. So I play knight c6, he played d4, bishop g4 and bishop g2. So he's gone into the fianchetto as we were looking at, and it gives me time, plenty of time to develop my pieces. When these hypermodern openings came out, they were good, but it took a while before they actually could have a real effect on a game. It wasn't like the short, sharp, bang, bang combination stuff of the 19th and 20th century. So knight f6, castles, bishop d6. I could go bishop e7, but I wanted to challenge the bishop directly and also to help occupy the e5 square. So he played knight into e5. I thought that was a little early. He hadn't developed his other knight yet, but I think he was keen to get on with it. So bishop f5, and he played c3, a bit limp. I thought he might have been a bit more adventurous with c4, but it's solid and there's nothing really wrong with this move. At this time we're both even on the stockfish. He was slightly ahead until c3. So I castled. He played knight to d2 now, and I didn't want him getting that knight onto f3 and making it harder to get him off of that e5 superiority. So I took the knight with the bishop, he took, I took with the knight, he took, and then I went knight g4. Knight d7 was probably better, but I played knight g4. And so he defended that pawn with the knight. All very good so far. He hasn't done anything seriously wrong, and neither have I. So in bishop e4, ready to exchange the bishop should he move that knight. He went queen d4. Now, this is not that good, because after queen e7, he then played the knight back, offering the bishop exchange. But he's given me some really good opportunity to grab space here with c5 I mean, sorry. Queen a4, and then bishop takes bishop, king takes bishop, and then with my hanging knight I can take the pawn on e5. So I've gained a pawn now, and he's looking a little bit sullen. I think the memory of the last time left some emotional scars. So he brought his, he played e4. He's still fighting. He's not going to give this up. You could see in the other game that he doesn't like to give up games or anything. So he played e4, and I threw in b5. I thought, why not? You want to mix it up, so let's dance. So I played a b5 against him. He could go queen takes pawn, but then I got rook on a2, b8, and his b2 pawn would drop. Don't really know, this things could happen, but he saw that anyway, and he went back to queen c2. So that was his best move, I think. Then I brought my rook on f8 to d8. Played rook e1, and I played c4, and this is really preparing for invasion, deep penetration into his position with c4, because the knight's going to come into d3 in a minute, and it's very hard for him to stop me having that monster knight in there, except to give up the exchange for it, which will probably lose him the game, but if he's forced to do it, he probably will. So he played the rook up to e3. I played queen b7. Now the reason for this is because, of course, that a8 h1 diagonal is very nice. His king's on g2, and so if I wish to take that pawn next go, whatever he retakes with, unless it's a queen, will be pinned. But it wouldn't be the queen, because queen takes queen, or rather queen takes queen, knight takes queen, and I've got control of the d-file. So he went back, he saw what was going on. That shows he can be a good player, this guy, I think. I mean, he got to 152, the old rating, so he had to be quite decent. It's just he hasn't been able to show it yet. So now in come my knight on d3, as I said I would do. And probably should have gone pawn takes pawn here, but he played b3 to undermine the monster knight on d3. And so I played the rook on a8 behind that rook. So everything's developed now, everything. He's still got a rook on a1. His pieces are pretty much crammed in his own half. And Stockfish has given me a 2.1 advantage with black over the white position at the moment. He played rook to d1, final developing move. And I pushed the d-pawn on. This is really threatening now. If he goes pawn takes pawn, of course, then I would retake with the rook, and then I'm threatening pawn takes pawn, queen takes, and I'm really invading deep into his lower regions. So he went rook back to e2, and here I played a nice little move, knight to f4, because if he takes it, of course I've got d3, and I pick up the rook and get a pawn on e2 after he moves the queen away. So he's not going to take the knight, instead he moved back, and d3 king. Now this is really bad for him now. He's minus 4.5 or 4.6 even, and that would say, Stockfish would say that this was a win now for black. And he's gone very quiet. He's slowed right down, gone very quiet, looking a bit sorry. I kind of felt sorry for him, but then I remembered that you don't feel sorry for your opponent, not during the game. After maybe, but not during the game. So you went back to queen to b1. Knight into e2. Check. So this is a killer because I'm going to play knight takes c3 next, which will fork the queen and the rook. So anyway, I'm glad to share this game with you. I hope you've enjoyed it like the other one. And I'd love to see you soon with some more games. Bye.